in my mind, I have a fear, like for so many years, like I didn't study and I don't know how I'm gonna do it. But this time I did, I think almost 60%. I
Okay.
put behind. And I was like, oh my God, I was not expecting that, because the second time I really work hard and I was like, I don't know how much I can do more. But
Bonjour guys, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to interview Nausheen. Nausheen graduated in 1999. She got her bachelor's degree in civil engineering from Pakistan, and she decided to take the FE exam because her boss encouraged her, and then also because she wanted to get involved in the design work. Now, Nausheen took the FE exam 3 times before she passed it, and in today's video, she's going to share with us her FE experience. Nausheen, thank you so much for joining us today.
you're welcome. I'm honored to be here.
Awesome. It's my pleasure. I'm really excited to do this. Now, Nushin, you told me that you have not been working in the civil engineering field for 16 years. So, 16 years later, well, you actually had kids and you wanted to dedicate time raising your kids and to your family, which I think it's amazing. And 16 years later, you decided to go back to work. How did that start? And were you scared to go back to the work field?
Yeah, yeah, it was difficult just to get back to the work and just start following a schedule. Because when you're home, your day schedule go after by your kids schedule, dropping school and picking them up. So it was kind of difficult, but yeah, I start working for a firm. It was in New Jersey. It's a Paragon Engineering, and it was inspection company and design, and different kind of. They were involved in different kind of design things. So they use me as a like structural inspections, and I was working under PE, and I learned a lot from this job. And because I used to go with one of the guy and one of another inspector for inspection, and it was kind of hard for me because I know that I have little experience, actually no experience, and I learned everything by reading all of their reports and stuff. So maintain your image in front of them, and you have to observe things. And then I learned a lot from my bosses, and they were kind of mentor for me. So I learned a lot from this job. But then after we moved to from New Jersey to Florida, 1 year within a year we moved to Tampa, Florida, and then I got the opportunity from Weintraub Engineering Inspection. It is one of the renowned company in the region of Florida. So then from here, I am learning a lot. So
That's awesome. Now, I do want to ask you, so for the first job that you got in New Jersey, how did you get that job? Because you have like this, so you graduated, you have this huge gap in your resume. You've never had the experience in the civil engineering field. So how did you get the job?
yeah, this is the main thing I just want to tell you. That the president of the company. He was one of the alumni of the same NAD University of Pakistan. So
Oh,
he he has a faith in me because we graduated from the same university. So he just want to give a chance, and I believe in no lying in showing experience. And I said I have no experience, and I just need a push and a chance. And I'm able to learn stuff. I will work hard, and they give me a chance. And I'm so fortunate. Even though I was not believing in myself, I was like, I don't know if they're gonna give me a job. And even though I got first job in New Jersey, and then we moved to Florida, so I was worried, like, now what? Like, what's gonna happen, if anybody else will believe in me or not? Because it's kind of hard. You didn't work for 16 years, and now bring your resume. which has nothing, and
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really amazing. So thank you for sharing that with us. And I think networking can also help a lot. And it was just like what a coincidence for you that the CEO graduated from the same school as you. And I think it's amazing. He, gave you that chance. You just needed somebody to believe in you. And then also you kind of prove during the interview that you're willing to learn and you're willing to move forward and like face the challenges that comes with the job. And I think that that should be like when people go into the interviews. So the reason I want to dive into this, just I want to clarify for the people watching this interview, because I actually do get a lot of emails, people asking me, they graduate from a different country, they come to the US and they want to get a job, and it's hard for them to get a job. It's really hard. And I think like going to the interview, even if you do have some experience, going with the mindset, like show to whoever interviewing you that you're willing to learn, you're willing to work hard and learn, and just give you a chance to prove that, just like you did. And that really helped you kind of get the job. And I think that's really important. A lot of the bosses, they're looking for someone who's willing to learn.
Right. And one more thing I want to add, like I learned that if you know AutoCAD, you can get into some kind of work, and then you will learn experience afterwards. So my own sister, she's an architect, and I learned, all the tips for AutoCAD because she has an architecture background. She told me a lot. So for past 1 year before I get into my first job, I learned from her. So she gave me so many tips, and basically she helped me a lot. And then there was something in my resume I could show, okay, I can work with that. So as a director, they can hire me.
That's amazing. Great, awesome. Okay, now tell us a little bit about your FE journey. So you took the FE exam 3 times. So when was the first time you took it?
I took it in 2018 May. I took it from the first time, and I have no one to ask, like which book I should follow, how it's gonna work, and what exactly is it. And in my mind, I have a fear, like for so many years, like I didn't study, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it. And so I asked one of the guy and in my workplace, and he said, oh, just go Amazon and buy a book and start studying. So I was like, okay. So I start studying and reading all the book. I bought couple of books, and but when I first gave my exam, it was kind of like, oh, it blew my mind because I didn't pay attention on units, the unit
Mm.
versions, and I got so many questions from bio, environmental engineering, waste management, water treatment, and I have no idea about it. It's kind of weak subject for me. So I got 8 to 10 questions from there. So, and my mechanics of material was a little bit, weak side. So it was kind of hard to. So the first time I was not sure what's gonna happen, but I did only 25%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've been out of school for like a long time. You graduated in 1999. And so here you are, like trying to study for this exam. You have no idea where to start, what resource to use. And then you picked up a book, like the book doesn't really tell you much, right? Because you can't talk to the book. And you needed, more like guidance. Like, this is where you start. This is how you study. This is what you should focus on. I mean, you didn't even like realize the units till you went to the exam, but I'm sure it still gave you like some perspective of like you get a feel of what is the exam. And so
Exactly.
when you failed, like when did you take it the second time, and what did you do the second time differently than the first time?
Yeah, then for the second time, I bought new more books, and I was like, no, I need to study more, and then I know where I have to focus, which subject I need more focus. So it was I started reading materials stuff and construction. like construction work, I didn't pay attention much on the first time on construction, surveying, and environmental engineering, and then I bought couple of sample exams from NCCS. I bought it, and but this time I did, I think, almost 60%. I
Okay.
put behind, and I was like, oh my god, I was not expecting that, because the second time I really work hard, and I was like, I don't know how much I can do more, but then I start watching. I found you on YouTube, and I watched some of the videos. On the second time, actually, I found you on the videos, and I said, oh, so okay, she's talking what exactly we need to know. How should we start? How should we end? And how we check all the units while you're doing the problem. So like I watch all of your music, all of your videos, and everything. But the music, I just came out of my mind, because when your title music was there, so my kids, my girl, they start dancing on it, because they were just walking around. They love your the title music on it. So um, yeah, it was kind of I was like, oh my god, I wish I can follow some kind of program. And then I follow some of the Marshall University's lectures, and I watched somebody's interview on YouTube. And this guy, he said, he took some of the live lectures, but they are not very effective, because there's so many people are taking the class at a time, and one person asks something, and the teacher is replying to him, and then another guy. And I watch Marshall University, so mostly you in 1 hour you are doing only one problem, so you're not getting a lot of knowledge per subject. So I was like, no, even though my husband, he was being very supportive during the whole journey, and he said, no, you should take some kind of course. And I said, I don't know, which course I should take. And yeah, so I did my second attempt in 2019, again, May. Yeah.
Okay. A year. Okay. So were you preparing that whole year from the first time to second time? This whole year you were just studying for the second time, or did you take
No.
some time off?
Yeah, so I took some time off for 6 months. I couldn't do anything, and after that, I said, no, I have to go back to this thing. I need to achieve this, and it was annoying me from inside. Like I want to do it. It's kind of challenge, and I want to take this challenge. So I said, no, I'm gonna keep doing it, even though my husband said, like, don't worry about failing, is just keep trying. One day you will get it. So yeah, and definitely he supports me a lot for this. And it's a coincidence. I always hear motivational videos. So like our country prime minister Imran Khan, he was saying, um, a person fails when he stopped trying. So this is the day when he real he fails. Otherwise, if he keep trying, he's not a failure. So
So you took the FE in May 2019. That was your second time. You failed it. Now, did you take a break again? And when did you start to study for the third time?
for the third time, I start studying again. Like I start like doing all the problem with my own hand. Like I practice each and every question, and I try to be very cautious with the unit changes, and I try everything. But I said it's kind of, all of the books I follow, I kind of memorize it already. So I was like, I was following your videos, all of the videos, because you keep uploading videos. So what I start doing, I start taking the screenshot of your videos and just keep it aside. So I was like, oh, I wish she has some kind of program. I always talk to my husband, oh, I really need to follow her, because I have exposure of 2 time of taking exam, and I know what kind of question they're gonna ask, and they are very to the point questions. They are not like, uh, they are sometimes they are really simple and to the point, because the sample exam I was buying from Amazon and everywhere, they were kind of like some of the questions are really lengthy. So I was like, but because I really like your videos, and they told me, okay, which way you need to go, this page number is this, you go and you find a reference book and look at it. So I follow all the, I used to watch each and every videos of yours, either is taking somebody's interview or YouTube thing, questions. So I was just hoping, and I was ready to give exam again in December. Actually not, my second attempt was in 2019, and I wanna give again, try again before COVID, March 2020. I was,
Hmm.
third attempt, but due to COVID, like, we all start, everybody was at home. We started working from home, and I got so busy because currently I'm working for a construction and inspection company, so we have so much workload during this time, pandemic time. We were more busy. So so I was like, no, I cannot pay attention, and so I delayed that, and 2 months after I said, no, I have to start learning a lot. And behind my mind, I was worried about the new, the July, they're introducing new, what do you call new?
Just new exam, like they updated the reference manual specification,
Right.
updated, like, yeah.
New manual, new style. So I was so worried, but my husband said maybe it will help you. Maybe it will be more easier. I said okay, and then I was studying from May till September. I was studying on my own, and but after I saw you're launching a program. So I think in the end of September, October, I decided to take. Okay, I need this program, and it helped me a lot. So first, I decided to give it the third time in December 2020, but I said no, I should take 2 more months, and I give my exam in February 2nd, 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, awesome. You shared a really great amazing tips with us. So it was a journey. There was a
Right.
lot of ups and downs.
Right.
And I think it's really amazing how you just kept going and you really didn't give up. Now, so how many months would you say did you really just, you prepared for the FE exam for your third time? Would you say like a total of like 4 or 5 months, because you were kind of like on and off? So you did start studying May, and then you said to September, but then you were going to take the exam on December, so you decided to postpone it. um, so when, like, was it like, is it hard to determine the months because he was kind of like everywhere?
I would say 5 to 6 months it took me.
Okay.
My usually like work hours are 9 to 10 hours a day, and then coming home, having dinner, and after, like, and I have only 2 to 3 hours a day to study. So sometimes 1.5 hours. So it's kind of, I cannot study more than that. So
You would study after work or before work?
after work.
After work. So, and then, wow, that's a very intense schedule. Did you do that
Yes. So
every day, or
I don't hear it.
did you actually do that every day where you studied like 3 hours? Because after 10 hours of at work, like you get home, you have dinner, there's barely any time left. So you study 3 hours and then you get up and then go to work, and then you just keep repeating. Doing that every day, you will burn out. So did you do that every day for like 6 months, or you just,
Kind of every day I make my mind I have to study every day,
okay,
1 to 2 hours, no matter what,
okay.
and to study. So, and during the weekend, I just try to put like 5 to 7 hours. So I split it. During the weekend, I start studying before my kids. Everyone woke up, so I start studying before, and then once we have breakfast together and some family time together, and after studying again. So I used to break my day like that. So I have to study and need to, because I feel like when you are fresh from the college, like, it's easy to learn. Maybe this is the only thing is in your mind, so you can easily learn things. But after a while I feel like, oh my god, I need to see this thing 2 or 3 times, and then it will, you will learn it finally. You will get it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm really glad you brought that up because like so for those of you guys who graduated a while back and you're preparing for the FE exam, I always tell my students to actually go over the course 2 or 3 times because the first time is just really just processing it. It's almost like seeing it the first time because you don't really remember much from college. So that first time is just like processing it, right? The second time
Yeah,
is really grasping it. Third time is reinforcing it, right? So it's like little
right,
things, like take some time before your brain goes like, I get it. I will remember this for the FE. And it's really about like really being patient with yourself as well, not getting frustrated during the process. And you have to approach it with the mindset of like, I will need to see this material 3 times before it sticks in my head, and that's okay. And you got to be okay with that, and you just got to figure out like what works for you. So I'm really glad you brought that up. Um, Now, did you do anything to recharge or like take a break from studying and your busy schedule? I mean, you work 10 hours a day. That's a lot of hours.
yeah. Sometimes I go for a walk with my husband because I stopped working workout, doing any kind of workout. I was not doing anything. Actually, I gained a lot of weight during this time period, because if I do a lot of workout, then I get so tired and I'm not able to study. So I said, okay, 1 mile walk is enough for me. So I can walk after that, and I come back home, and I start studying again. So it is in my mind. I have to achieve it, and for me, it's kind of hard because I have a family, and I feel like I'm taking my family time out and I'm putting my attention somewhere else. So I just want to put a balance on both of them, but it was really difficult. But my husband really supported me. He helped me a lot with everything. Yeah.
That's really amazing. That's great. It really helps when you have like a family member, like a supportive partner that really helps throughout this process, especially when you have a family. I think that really helps a lot. If because if you were doing all this by yourself and balancing family and
Oh
working
no, no.
10 hours and studying, it will almost be impossible. And I've seen this a lot with my students. Like a lot of my students who passed their FE, if they had family or they had kids, their spouse or their partner would actually be very supportive during that studying period, and they would pretty much take the whole responsibility of taking care of the house and the kids and all that and just let their partner diving in and studying. And I think that really that helps a lot, like it really helps. And I love how also like he motivates you, and that also can be very helpful because sometimes we spiral, like you were worried about the new FE exam, but he's like, hey, maybe it might be easier, maybe it might work towards your advantage, right? Maybe now they removed computational tools, maybe you'll be okay. So it's really important to have that as well. It can be very helpful. um Now, so tell us a little bit about the resources. So you kind of told us what material you used the first and second time. You mostly use books from Amazon, and the third time you kept using the books, but then you realized like you remember all the problems because you've done them so many times, and you
Right.
decided to get the course, the FE Accelerator morning course, and so you use that for the morning, right? Now, what did you use for the afternoon?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you first. I'm gonna go with the books I follow for the first time. I follow this book for the first time.
Okay.
I kind of memorize it. And then I bought this thing. It was kind of helpful, but it has some lengthy, explanations, and sometimes you're not following like where should you start, what you should see. Just you open my mind like how to start, like if it is a laminar flow, turbulent flow, or if in like if it's which graph you should see, like t distribution or z1, in probability. So like sometimes it has solutions, but you don't know which one you need to pick, the small things. So it was really difficult. And then the third time, a second time actually, I bought this book. It was kind of helpful. It was better.
Mm-hmm.
Book
Yeah.
was like it really help, and I like that. And then I bought this practice program as you recommend in your one of your YouTube, and I think and I bought these two also.
Ooh,
This, yeah,
I
one
like
I
that.
bought. Yes, you recommend. I think you took
Yes.
some else interview, and that guy recommended that.
Yeah.
So I failed it second time, and the third time I was like, okay, what should I do? I was following all of your YouTube thing. I study more, and I more emphasize this time on surveying, construction, environmental. Even though I don't know, there's something I have with environment engineering. I'm not getting it. I keep reading it. And I said, no, I have to learn it. But the problems are simple. You just need to know which one will go with that, which, equation you exactly need to use here. So I just study. But for the third time, you recommend this book also in one of,
Mm-hmm.
but you really helped me with the morning session, because I was like probability was difficult for me a little bit. Some of the concept you make it really easy for me. Math was always easy for me because I teach my own kids, so I know all this stuff. Math was easy kind, and actually you helped me in your course with which problem you can solve by calculator only. But
Mm.
I was doing matrices, all everything with my own hand, and I was like, oh my god, how can I finish this problem within 3 minutes? And it is kind of hard. And you actually helped me with that, and I was like, oh, I can solve this. I can solve this because I'm not like a slow person, but finishing everything within 3 minutes is kind of challenge. So yeah, so through your course, like I get so much help in uh, probability and statistics. Stats were I was good in stats, but dynamics you help me a lot with dynamics program. And fluid mechanics is like I'm okay with the fluid mechanics, but yeah, like I said earlier, like for just like laminar and turbulent flow, and how to read the moody charts and stuff. So you give us a clear picture, how exactly you need to approach all these problems. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you brought up really great points. So definitely you guys know your calculator because that could save you so much time. And like you said, like it's not about being, slow or fast person. It's just like, you could do this problem in 2 minutes versus 30 seconds, right? And then you can have
Right.
time on the harder topics. So know your calculator really well. Another thing you brought up is that like a lot of the books they do give you the explanation, but they don't necessarily give you the guidance or like how did they get to that solution or why did they use Reynolds equation or like the turbulent equation instead of the flow or the laminar equations, right? Like how did they come up with those conclusions or why did they use certain equation or certain graph? That's not communicated to the books. Now like I really like your process because first you started with the books. You're like, let me see if I can do it by myself, and you were just trying to learn from the books. and you were just trying to do as many problems as possible, try to figure out the solution. You went into the exam, you got the diagnostic report, and then you saw that, like, I need more help, I need more guidance. And
Right.
think like it's okay to go to the exam. So I always tell this to my students: when you go into the exam, don't go in with the mindset of like, I really have to pass this exam, like if I don't pass, I'm done, like it's the end of the world. No,
Right.
you have to go get in with the mindset of like, let me see where I'm at. If I fail, they're gonna give me a diagnostic report, and I'm gonna use that so I can work on
Right.
whatever attempt that
Yeah.
is, right? And then you can learn from your mistakes, and that's going to help you for your next move, right? So like for Nosheen, like you were like, okay, I actually need serious guidance here, I need a program that's going to tell me exactly what to do. and
Yeah.
and that's really important. Sometimes you just got to be honest with yourself, and it's okay to get a little bit of help. Like, don't keep doing the same thing and expect, different result. Like if
Right.
you still use the same books again on your third attempt, you might have not passed the FE, right? Because you're doing the same,
Right.
didn't work the second time, you got to figure out something else now, right? So
Yeah.
and I think that's what happens to most people. They fail, they feel down, they don't process it, and they don't learn from it, and they don't have a new plan of what do I need to do now. You gotta, like, it's okay. I know failure sucks, like nobody likes to fail, and you even mentioned it. When you failed the second time, you didn't feel good because you did study this time, you really put a lot of hours, you did study for like
Yeah.
6 months for it, and then you failed. It still sucks to fail, right? But
Yeah.
like, give yourself time to kind of process it. And once you do, you got to come in with like some logic, like, okay, what do I need to learn from this experience? What do I need to do next, right? So that you make sure that you get closer and closer to passing. Doesn't that It's not necessarily to pass right away, but to get closer and closer to that goal. Like as soon as you see progress in your diagnostic report, celebrate that, because that's important. That's going to help you to
Yeah.
stay motivated and to keep going. Now,
Yeah.
so I'm glad my courses helped you, and thank you for being part of the engineer community. We appreciate it.
And
Now,
I want to add something to it. Like, I believe in everything happens for a reason. So maybe I'm not fully, I don't have full command on each of the stuff. That's why I failed it. So, and I was behind my mind. It was like I didn't do anything for 16 years. So, in order to get more knowledge or equivalent knowledge, what a fresh graduate has, I have to study more. So, that's why I just keep buying books and study more. And I was back of the mind, I was thinking, no, I have to do it because I am lacking all those years. So I'm maybe I'm still learning the knowledge. So it doesn't mean like I'm gonna pass and I know everything. So if I am failing it, I need to keep trying and trying again.
well, I love that, and that's because it really shows that you want to pass this exam for you, because you want to be a really good engineer who knows her stuff. And that's why you're like, if I deserve to fail, I would actually rather fail, and that means that I need to keep learning the material for yourself, because you want to be a good engineer and you want to like know the stuff. And I think that's really powerful, because a lot of people get caught up on like, I need to pass this for my job, or I need to pass this to get the
Yeah.
next promotion, or I need to get this job to get into design, or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, like, that motivation can die off, and then you might not keep going and keep studying. But if you do really want to pass this exam for yourself, because you want to learn and you want to be a better engineer, then that's actually going to really keep you motivated till you pass your FE. And I think that's really important, because you focus on learning at this point. It's not about passing anymore, it's about learning the material.
Because I'm currently working under two experienced PE engineers, and before in my first job. So where you are standing, right? What's your level? So I just like, no, I need to know more, I need to know more. And like when I fail, I was second time, I kind of hide from everyone. And because some people say, oh, because you graduated from Pakistan, because the standard over here is high, maybe you don't get the that standard. But that's not true, because uh, like yeah, few of the courses like environmental engineering, like I need to learn more. uh, but I was okay with transportation, structural engineering, soil mechanics, fluid mechanics. So there was nothing new for me, but I need to learn the right techniques in order to pass that. And and few small unit conversion thing, and few factor of safety things which you forget with the time, all those stuff. So I need to pay attention. So I was kind of fear. I have a fear like I'm gonna fail again. So what's gonna happen? But my husband support me a lot. He said, "No, it doesn't matter. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. Just keep on trying. One day you will get it." So I said, "Okay."
Yeah. And I'm really I'm sorry that you had to go through that. That really sucks. And because they didn't really focus on like, hey, maybe because she graduated in 1999 and she hasn't seen this material for a long time, that's why she's struggling. But rather they focus on which country you graduated from. And that just really like it sucks. And I'm really
Engineering
glad.
is the same. Engineering is the same anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I told this to my students. I was like, look, like it doesn't matter if you graduated from Harvard or if you graduate from, like a normal university or if you graduate from a Pakistan. And that's the beauty of this FE and the PE, because at the end, we're all the same. We're all on the same room. All we have to take this exam, and once you pass, you're still again the same, right? And so like take advantage of this opportunity, because passing the FE really like shows that like it doesn't matter what background you came from, you pass this exam, you know the same thing as the person who graduated from Harvard or MIT. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter. And Yeah, so thank you for sharing that. Okay, now let's talk about the day before you took the FE. So you said that you were reviewing the mock exam now, but how were you feeling? Were you feeling stressed or nervous, or were you just feeling like ready?
So last day after work, I start reviewing your program like 7 or 8 o'clock, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna follow. Look at the solution if I know, question and answer if I know or not." So I was following, and I found out there are so many questions. Still, I'm able to do through calculator. I was like, "Oh my God!" And I'm looking at the how to use calculator for these. So but it's kind of hard, but I want to learn. Like I was not stressful. I said, okay, I have time. I can use this, use this time and efficiently. So I just finish everything. I said, no, every problem will give me more knowledge and knowledge. So I'm gonna finish it. I was not stressed. In the same time, I was like kind of, scared too. What was gonna happen? So I slept actually. This is very bad practice. I won't recommend anyone to do this. I slept really late because I was finishing your program, and I woke up again at 6 o'clock.
Wow. So how many hours did you get?
Don't ask me. I think four,
Or
four,
okay, it's
five.
fun because
Yeah.
I posted a video last week, how to handle nerves before the FE, and get enough sleep is definitely one of them. And you did not get enough sleep. Um wow, okay. I don't, like you said, we don't recommend this, guys. I think it's important to get good hours of sleep before the FE.
It's
Also
very important.
reviewing the course like after work the day before the FE, that could be stressful. But hey, like again, like I do recommend all these things, but you have to figure out what works for you, right? And for you, Nosheen, going over those questions just made you more calm and made you feel like more confident, and that's what you had to do, and you did it, and you still passed your FE. So that's why I always say figure out what works for you and don't follow someone else like what works for them. You have to tweak it and
Right.
make it work for you.
Even though one day before I was taking it, but I was like, okay, maybe one of the question I didn't know, and I will get to know like what exactly it is. And I found that there are so many permutation questions I can do with the calculator. I can do this with the calculator. So it's kind of helpful for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. Now, for the day of the exam, so you did mention that you were a little bit scared because like you really cared, you really wanted to pass this exam. So how were you feeling during the exam?
During, I still remember like the first question started with the probability question, and it was again the t distribution thing. And the second, I only got two questions from math, two from probability, and I was feeling like this time it was a little bit easy,
Hmm.
and maybe I'm more prepared through your course, but it was little bit easier than before, because I found in the afternoon session, um, last time there was a lot of lengthy question I have to solve for structural engineering, but this time they were very to the point.
Hmm.
Point, either you know it or you don't know it, or you can go back to the reference manual and you can find out. So this time it was I think this time was a little easier for me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it might be just because, like you said, you're more prepared. Because, like, the more prepared we are, the more we know the questions, the more it feels easy. Um,
Yeah.
versus when you go in, you're not very prepared, you get like a question you don't know, it just seems hard, right? Um, okay, and do you remember how many hours you spent on the first half versus the second half of the exam?
I divided everything like into a half and half. So I make my mind I have to finish in 2.5 hours, no matter what.
That's what you
So
did? Okay.
yes, that's what I did.
And you were able to achieve that?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Okay. And how many questions did you have to guess?
A question I have to get. I would say in the morning, maybe 6 to 10. Afternoon again, I think 8 to 10.
8 to 10. Okay. Okay, great. Now, were you feeling confident when you finished the exam?
I was, yeah, in my mind, I was thinking like, I think I did 70% this time. I was sure about it. I got the right answer because it was matching with exactly with one of the choices.
Okay.
So I was quite sure, but still I was not sure I'm going to pass this time or
Yeah.
not.
Like,
Yeah.
you always have this doubt. You're like I think I did okay, but you never know. Like maybe I missed a couple questions. You still have that doubt till you see the results, and then you're like, okay, yeah. Now, are there any areas that were difficult that you wish you would have studied more? Like environmental, maybe?
For the first time, I was thinking environmental for the first time
Okay.
because I got 8 to 10 questions
Hmm.
environmental. It was a weak subject for me. And the second time, I got 8 to 10 questions from construction. You know.
Okay.
So I was like, oh God, this construction environmental is like is difficult for me, and I didn't pay much attention. So for the third time, I study for everything, but third time I would say uh, it was like overall to me there was nothing I didn't learn from your course. Everything I knew about it, but one thing I want to mention, because I just attempt those questions which I was 100% sure I know it, and I want to get rid of all the question which I have no clue. So I check the reference manual. If I don't know, I'm not gonna even flag it.
Mm.
Spending time on them is kind of wasting time again.
Mm.
Presses because there I mentioned you earlier there was 8 to 10 fill in the blanks questions. So I just finished those at the same moment. But there was some kind of questions which I know it, but I have to pay a little bit more attention. I flagged it and I asked those and I reattempt it again. But I want to mention like there are kind of question like they involves two things, so they are combined with two subjects. And because when I look at it, I was like, oh my god, I have no idea. When I read it after finishing all the other question, when I look into it, I said, no, this is quite easy. I didn't fully read the whole question. They are just asking about the frictional thing or just the radius of the thing. So because they involve a kind of transportation and there is something, surveying thing. So the the questions are like, tactfully, combined with two subjects. So
Yeah. At first, you look at it and you get scared. You're like, oh my God, two topics are combined. What do I do with this? But you flag it and you're like, I'll take care of this later. You come back to it, you read it, and you're like, oh, this is easier than I expected. This is not,
yeah.
I just need to, do the logic steps and then I'll still get the answer. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think it happened to me as well during the exam where I saw like a couple questions and I was like, oh, wait, this is hard. Gonna flag it, come back to it later. I come back, I read, like he's an endnotes, like break it down just like we do in the course, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is easier than I expected. I think that happens a lot. Yeah. Okay. Now, were there any topics that were easier than you expected?
It was math,
Okay.
statics, yeah, and one of the question from dynamics easier than I was expecting. Yeah.
Awesome.
Fluid mechanics, I was very much comfortable with fluid mechanics, structure engineering, transportation.
Now, did you have a lot of conceptual questions on the FE?
Yeah, this time there were a lot of conceptual questions like before from the past two times.
Okay. Now, how did you prepare for them? How did you study for conceptual questions?
Like last time, I have like, a little bit confused about determined and indeterminate structure, zero force member, and more small things. I was not clear after taking your course. I have a more clear picture how to attend those questions. So I really like this conceptual, question because like it's easier if you know it, you can answer, in 1 second. But if it's better than calculating one page questions, because it's eating up your time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's funny because actually a lot of the students don't like conceptual questions. But here you are like saying you actually prefer conceptual questions, which makes sense because like they're much faster to answer. But I think what's really tricky about conceptual questions is like how do you prepare for them? And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with. Like how do you study for the conceptual questions? And what I'm getting from you is that you just focus on learning and trying, like as you're doing the problems you really learn and grasp the concepts, and that really helps you answer those conceptual questions. Is that right?
yeah, I believe you go through 100%, like on each or every kind of scenario of the question you're gonna get. So you covered almost 100%. Like after taking your course, I don't feel like oh, Kenza didn't cover that thing, and you always expect like five questions are from somewhere else. You have no clue. It's like once they ask about some of the acts, some ASTM code, and I have no idea. So okay, I didn't answer that, but you went through all the structural engineering stuff, all the fluid mechanics stuff. So I have little concept, and after taking a course there was nothing new for me. So I think you cover very well everything, all the topic, you have everything.
Okay.
That kind of complete course. I'm kind of glad like I took this course. And I was talking to my husband and he was like, so she just launched it. And I said, no, I have full faith after watching all the YouTube videos. I have full faith, and I have it done like two times. Like I have an idea like what kind of question I'm gonna get. So she's taking care of every concept. So yeah, it really helpful for me.
Yeah, that's great. I'm really glad it helped. And you took like a huge risk. You told your husband like she's like legit, like I trust her. That's a huge
Yeah,
risk to take.
he was like, take some Kaplan course and go for it. I said, no, I trust this girl. Yeah, I'm gonna take his course. Either I'm gonna take it and I'm not gonna take anybody else. So full faith on you. I
That's
wish you
great.
have same program for PE. So I don't have to use my mind. I'm not gonna use any books. I'm gonna just blindly follow you. That's all I want.
Yeah, well, like so right now I'm working on the FE Bytes accelerator for the afternoon course for civil. After that, I want to do some courses for mechanical and environmental and other disciplines, and then we'll dive into the PE. So it might take a while, but I don't know when you're starting to take your PE. So are you gonna take it like right away?
I'm trying to take one in October coming to in
Wow.
2020. Yes, I was like just try it because I bought already. I very next day I bought like 2 3 books already for PE's uh,
Okay.
structure. So and I figured out there are so many questions like topics are similar. Like the afternoon program becomes morning program for the PE.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, so I think everything is already in my mind. I should not delay it because I already have 4.5 year of experience, uh,
Okay.
work experience. So I think I should go, fast towards it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, like I'm glad you mentioned that. So the afternoon, you're gonna see that the after well, like a little bit like mechanics of materials, fluid mechanics, and then the afternoon for civil, that all of that becomes the breadth, and then you have the depth depending on the discipline. So for you will be structural. So for the depth, you have mostly just structural problems. But
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. Now, do you have any closing remarks for engineers who are trying to pass the FE exam?
yeah. Keep trying. Don't lose hope. And like after 22 years after graduation, if I can pass it, anybody can pass it. So yeah, keep trying. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, Nausheen, thank you so much for joining us today. I really enjoyed talking to you, and congratulations on passing your FE. I think you did amazing, and I really hope this video helps and motivates people who are in the same situation as you. So, thank you again for your time and for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Kinza.
Nushin has shared some amazing insights with us today, and I really hope this interview inspires you guys and helps you to keep going till you pass your FE exam. Now, if you guys like this video, please give us a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for new videos every week. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck with your studying, and I will see you soon. À la prochaine.